There is a silent truth that has echoed through the cosmos since the first breath of creation. It is not written in stone, nor is it shouted from mountaintops. It is whispered gently by the stars, hummed in the breeze, pulsing through the oceans and reverberating in every beat of your heart. Everything is energy, and so are you. You are not a solid, fixed thing walking through a world of concrete. You are not just a name or a story wrapped in skin. You are vibration. You are frequency. You are a sacred symphony of moving particles, each one singing the silent song of the universe itself. The walls you see, the thoughts you think, the emotions you feel, they are all energy in motion, patterns dancing within the field of the unseen. And in the center of it all is you, the observer, the dreamer, the divine conductor of your own experience. You were never separate from this field. You did not drop into it from the outside. You are it. You are not walking through the universe. The universe is walking through you. The light of a distant galaxy is made of the same photons that pass through your pupils. The waves of a distant ocean are kin to the waves of emotion that ripple through your heart. What you call you is not a single point. It is a field, expansive and connected to all that island. To know this is to begin awakening. Not awakening to a new belief, but to the remembrance of what has always been. Energy does not judge. It does not punish or reward. It simply responds, it reflects, it matches. Your life is not happening to you, it is echoing from you. The people you meet, the experiences you draw in, the patterns that repeat, these are not accidents. They are resonances, mirrors, frequencies responding to frequencies. And when you understand this, not in your intellect, but in your being, everything changes. Because you realize finally that you are not a victim of the world you see. You are its author. Not from the mind's control, but from the soul's alignment. The question is not, what will the world give me today? The question is, what am I broadcasting today? What vibration am I offering? What frequency am I tuning into? Because the universe does not hear your words, it feels your energy. This is the reason affirmations sometimes fail. You can speak of abundance while vibrating scarcity. You can declare love while radiating fear. Energy does not lie. It does not obey appearances. It responds to your deepest signal, the one behind your eyes, beneath your posture, beneath the smile. It listens to the real you, the vibrational signature of your inner state. So if you wish to change your life, do not merely rearrange the furniture of your outer world. Do not merely affirm what your energy still resists. Instead, return inward. Tune your frequency. Raise your vibration not by striving, but by remembering who you are. You are energy, but not just any energy. You are divine energy, sacred intelligence, creative force cloaked in form. You are the breath of God disguised as a person. You are the wave pretending it is not the ocean. You are the sunbeam that is momentarily forgotten. It comes from the Sunday. This forgetting is not a flaw, it is the journey. It is the sacred sleep from which you now begin to awaken. And as you wake, you remember, you were never broken, you were never lacking. You were simply vibrating at the level of forgetting. Now you rise, not through effort, but through remembrance. As Rumi once said, you were born with wings, why prefer to crawl through life? You were born with light. You were born as energy in perfect harmony with all that island. But the world taught you to identify with the dust, the form, the labels. It taught you to measure yourself by what you could see and touch. And in doing so, you began to believe the illusion that you were separate, that you are alone, that you are a fragment. But energy cannot be divided. It only appears so. Your soul is not a piece of something greater. It is the entirety of the divine, localized within your form. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean encoded in a single drop. When Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is within you, he wasn't speaking metaphorically. He was describing the vibrational field of truth, the inner realm where your divine energy already resides. Not in the future, not after enlightenment, but now, in this moment, in this breath. You see, the truth does not need time, only the ego does. The ego says, one day I will be healed, one day I will find peace, one day I will be worthy. But energy lives only now. And your soul has never doubted your worth, not for one breath. It has always known you as whole. It has always held you as light. So the question is not how to become that light, but how to stop dimming it, how to stop believing the thoughts that lower your frequency, how to stop accepting the lies the world told you about who you are and what you deserve. These are not small lies. These are the roots of suffering. But you are ready now. You are ready to vibrate at the frequency of truth. You are ready to become a match to your own divine essence. You are ready to walk not as a seeker, but as a seer. Not as one who chases the light, but as one who radiates it. And how do you do this? By choosing the higher frequency in every moment. Not through pressure, but through presence. You choose love over fear, forgiveness over resentment, surrender over control, stillness over noise, trust over doubt. You begin to feel the subtle shift inside you when you tune out of panic and into peace. That shift, tiny as it may seem, is everything. It is the whole universe rearranging itself around your new vibration. You are a tuning fork, and your state of being calls forth matching melodies from the field of creation. Life is not personal, it is vibrational. It does not reward good people or punish bad ones. It simply responds to resonance. The more you become aware of what you're radiating, the more empowered you become to shift your entire life. And yet, this power is not forceful, it is gentle. Like the Tao, it flows, it bends, it allows. It is not a hammer, it is a current. And the more you align with it, the more you realize that you don't need to push life into place. You simply need to align, and life arranges itself. This is not magic, it is law. It is the sacred law of energy, echoed in every scripture, every spiritual teaching, every scientific discovery. What you are is what you see. What you radiate is what returns. So start now, not by fixing yourself, but by feeling yourself. Feel the energy of your breath. Feel the vibration of your gratitude. Feel the radiance of your being when you stop trying to be someone. This is your natural frequency. And from this frequency, miracles are not rare, they are inevitable. They are not interruptions in the natural order, they are the natural order. The more you align, the more you receive. Not because you begged, but because you matched. Not because you proved, but because you remembered. And in this remembrance, in this sacred returning to your true vibration, you become what you were always meant to be. A living embodiment of the divine frequency. A lighthouse in a world of static, a gentle song that reminds others of the music in their own soul. You become the medicine, the message, the miracle, because energy is not what you have. Energy is what you are, and what you are is love. And so, as the river of truth continues its sacred descent into your being, let yourself soften even more. Let the resistance fall like old leaves from a tree no longer needing to prove its bloom. For what you are remembering now is not merely that you are energy, but that energy itself is intelligent. It moves with purpose. It flows with consciousness. It does not collide randomly, it orchestrates with intention. And the more you allow yourself to trust its flow, the more your life begins to feel like a dance, not a struggle. This intelligence does not shout over the noise of the world. It waits in silence beneath every breath, behind every heartbeat. You may have called it intuition, a hunch, a knowing, but it is more ancient than words. It is the voice of Source speaking in frequencies rather than syllables. And when you listen not with your ears but with your presence, it tells you everything you need to know, not in explanations but in peace, not in directions but in clarity. You have been conditioned to believe that clarity comes from control, but clarity arises not from grasping but from aligning. It is not born in thought, it is born in stillness. And this stillness is not the absence of movement, it is the presence of harmony. When your inner frequency harmonizes with truth, even the storm around you becomes sacred. You stop fearing the wind because you have become the sky. Look around and you will see that nature never hurries, yet everything is accomplished. The tree does not rush to bear fruit, nor does the ocean strain to reach the shore. They move in rhythm with the eternal pulse. So must you. Not because slowness is the goal, but because surrender is the pathway. When you surrender to the current of your own energy, you stop trying to be the river and start flowing as it. This is the shift from force to flow, from tension to trust. It is not weakness, it is divine strength. To trust your energy is to trust life itself. To know that you are not being tossed in chaos, but carried in intelligence. That even the challenges, even the losses are not curses, they are recalibrations. The energy of your life is always seeking coherence, always drawing you back into alignment with your highest truth. Sometimes this realignment comes as joy. sometimes is heartbreak, but both are sacred. Both are energetic invitations back to the center of your being. Pain is not a punishment, it is a tuning fork. It rattles your structure so that the false notes fall away and only the pure tone remains. And that tone, pure, strong, resonant, is who you truly are. You cannot fake your vibration. You cannot paint joy over fear and call it truth. Energy is not impressed by performance. It responds only to resonance. This is why spiritual awakening is not about pretending to be peaceful. It is about uncovering the peace that was buried under the pretending. And when you begin to live from that uncovered place, your life becomes a mirror of your soul. Relationships shift not because you change them, but because your energy no longer entertains anything misaligned. Opportunities appear not because you chase them, but because you became a match for their frequency. Healing unfolds not through effort, but through surrender to the natural intelligence already moving through your being. Every cell in your body listens to your energy. Your immune system, your heart, your breath, they are not separate from your emotional field. They are listeners of your frequency, responders to your state of consciousness. Healing, then, is not a destination. It is a vibration. And when you release the frequency of fear, guilt, and unworthiness, the body remembers its design, harmony. The mind remembers its nature, clarity. The heart remembers its song, love. So the work is not in becoming someone new, it is in letting go of the frequencies that are not you, the shame inherited, the fear absorbed, the stories repeated. These are not your truth. They are echoes of a world that forgot its own divinity. But you are here to remember. You are here to vibrate a new possibility into being. You are here to become a living field of permission for others to feel safe, returning to their own sacred frequency. And this field you create is not bound by time or space. It ripples, it reaches, it heals without your doing. Because energy is not limited to where your hands can touch. Your thoughts send currents into the quantum field. Your love alters the geometry of invisible realms. Your presence changes the weather of hearts. This is not fantasy. This is physics wrapped in grace. You are not small. You are not accidental. You are not powerless. You are the center of a sacred resonance field, and your every breath is tuning the world. Let that breath be true. Let it be deep. Let it be now. And as you breathe now, more aware than ever of the sacred current moving through your lungs, feel how effortlessly life supports you. Feel how the air does not demand that you earn it. How the earth does not require that you prove your worth before it holds you. Feel how the sun rises not because you asked for it, but because it is its nature to rise and yours to receive. You do not have to strive to be sustained. The entire cosmos is already conspiring in your favor, not because of what you've done, but because of what you are. Energy, alive, awake, essential. You are not a bystander in this grand unfolding. You are a thread in the very fabric of existence. Remove you, and the universe loses its symmetry. You matter. Not because of your achievements, but because you exist. The frequency of your soul is a note that cannot be replaced in the song of creation. And yet, you've been told to shrink, to hide, to apologize for your light, to dim it in the name of modesty, to cage it in the name of safety. But no more. That time is over. The energy of awakening is rising in you now, not as fire, but as a deep warmth, a steady glow, a recognition that hiding no longer serves your evolution. That the world does not need another mask, it needs your frequency, raw and radiant. There is a magnetic power that begins to flow through you when you stop fighting your own essence. When you stop betraying your truth to be accepted by those who've forgotten theirs. When you stop adjusting your vibration to match a world that is starving for authenticity. In that surrender, you rise not as a conqueror, but as a lighthouse, unshaken, rooted, luminous. And the beautiful irony is this: the moment you stop chasing love is the moment it finds you. The moment you stop chasing purpose is the moment it unfolds within you. Because everything you are chasing is already vibrating within you, but your seeking has been vibrating lack. Your running has been echoing not yet. Your worry has been broadcasting not enough. And energy only mirrors back what you send out. So shift not by force, but by awareness. By seeing the illusion for what it island. By returning to the knowing that there is no out there that can complete what is already whole in here. You are not a project to fix. You are a presence to embody. You are the sun, not the shadow it casts. You are the space, not the story that echoes through it. Do not underestimate the power of your stillness. In a world addicted to motion, your presence is revolutionary. In a world spinning with noise, your silence is sacred. In a world chasing worth, your being is the reminder that worth is inherent. You don't need to shout your truth to make it real. It becomes real the moment you feel it. And when you begin to live this way, when your energy no longer seeks permission to exist, you become a field of grace. Your eyes speak calm before your mouth speaks words. Your walk becomes a prayer. Your daily tasks become rituals of alignment. You are no longer trying to make things happen. You are allowing them to unfold. This is the path of resonance. Not pushing, not grasping, tuning. Attuning to the frequency of joy, of presence, of being. And the more you attune, the more the world begins to echo back your wholeness. People show up who mirror your truth. Experiences arrive that match your peace. Miracles unfold not because you chase them, but because you no longer vibrate resistance to them. Even pain begins to shift. It is no longer a curse to avoid, it becomes a teacher, a sacred contraction that precedes your next expansion. You begin to meet discomfort with curiosity instead of fear, with openness instead of armor, because you know now it's just energy, moving, asking to be seen, asking to be loved. And when you love what arises, even the heavy frequencies, shame, anger, sadness, they begin to melt. Not by being fixed, but by being welcomed. You do not need to become high vibration by suppressing your emotions. You become high vibration by loving them, by allowing them to move through you without judgment, like rain falling through a forest, cleansing, releasing, nourishing. This is how you heal, not by climbing upward, but by diving inward. Not by escaping the energy, but by embodying it. Not by being perfect, but by being present. Because presence is the highest frequency of all. And it is from this holy place of presence that you begin to co-create, not from desperation, but from clarity. Not from the ego's plan, but from the soul's vision. Life begins to rise to meet you, not because you controlled it, but because you finally matched its rhythm. And that rhythm is love. Silent, unshakable, ever-expanding love. There is a sacred intelligence in surrendering to love, not as an emotion, not as a fleeting romance, but as the field from which all things rise. Love is not a reward you receive, it is a current you return to. The very vibration of Source itself. And as you remember this, not just in your thoughts, but in the marrow of your being, you begin to realize that every step you've taken, even the ones you thought were missteps, have been guiding you back to this knowing. The pain, the joy, the longing, the release, all of it energy, all of it sacred, all of it pointing you inward, not to isolate, but to integrate, not to hide, but to unveil. You see now that nothing is wasted, no wound, no moment, no heartbreak has been without purpose. Energy does not disappear. It transforms, it recalibrates, and so too must you, not by shedding who you are, but by shedding who you are not. And in this sacred undoing, you begin to vibrate differently. You speak with less urgency and more truth. You move with less resistance and more grace. You stop trying to fix the story and instead inhabit the presence behind it. That presence, the one that watches without judgment, the one that feels without attachment, is your real self. Unmoved by conditions, untouched by past or future. That self is not bound by the world, it carries the frequency of eternity. And from this frequency, life begins to take on a different hue. You no longer view circumstances as obstacles. You see them as mirrors, reflections of the vibration you are ready to either embody or release. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And begin to ask, what is this showing me about the energy I am carrying? This is not blame, it is awakening. The moment you stop waiting for something to shift externally and start tuning your internal field, the world begins to mirror your transformation. Because energy is the first creation, form is the echo. What you send out into the field, your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, is the architecture of your future reality. But it is not enough to think new thoughts if the energy behind them remains unchanged. It is not enough to speak of peace if you vibrate with resentment. The universe does not respond to your declarations, it responds to your state. And so you tend to your state like a sacred fire. You don't wait for others to bring warmth, you become the warmth You don't wait for life to align you, align with life. And in this sacred act of alignment, you begin to live not from reaction, but from resonance. Not from fear, but from embodiment. This is when true magnetism arises, not the kind that manipulates outcomes, but the kind that draws to you the exact frequency of your soul. The right people arrive not because you went searching, but because your energy called them forth. The right path reveals itself not because you forced it open, but because your vibration became its invitation. And this is why energy is everything. It is not an abstract concept. It is the blueprint of your becoming. It is the soil from which your life grows. If you do not tend to the soil, the seed cannot flourish. But when you cultivate your inner field, when you pull the weeds of doubt, water the roots of presence, and let the sun of your awareness shine through, you become fertile ground for the miraculous. You no longer need to predict how it will unfold. You simply trust that it will. Because life does not need your control. It needs your coherence. It needs your authentic frequency vibrating without apology. And as you walk in this way, clear, calm, open, you will notice something extraordinary. The more you embody your truth, the less noise their island. The more you speak from essence, the more silence follows. Not the silence of absence, but the silence of reverence. People feel it even if they don't understand it. They pause, not because you told them to, but because your energy created a space where their own truth could breathe. This is the quiet power of one who knows themselves as energy. Not the frantic fire of performance, but the steady flame of presence. This is not about being more, it is about being true. And in that truth, there is no longer a need to prove, to persuade, or to please. There is only the deep knowing that you, exactly as you are, vibrating from the center of your being, are already aligned with the divine. And the divine, dear soul, does not need to be chased. It only needs to be remembered. So now you stand at the threshold, not of a new destination, but of an ancient remembrance. Not a step forward, but a falling inward, into the stillness, into the sacred, into the truth that you have always been the one you were waiting for. This knowing does not arrive as thunder, it comes as a softness, a vibration so subtle it could be missed if you're still listening with the ears of the mind. But the soul hears it clearly. And when it does, it weeps not with sorrow, but with the relief of reunion. You have journeyed so far in search of answers, only to find that the deepest wisdom does not shout, it radiates, it reveals, it unveils. And what it reveals is simple but holy, that everything you've ever needed, you have always carried, not in your mind, not in your hands, but in your field, in your frequency. The wisdom is in your bones, the clarity is in your silence, the truth is in your being. This is the paradox of awakening. You stop seeking outside because you realize there is no outside. Everything out there is simply a projection of your vibration. When you shift within, the whole mirror world shifts without. Not because you manipulated it, but because you ceased resisting it. You aligned, you returned. You became one with the frequency of truth, and truth is the only vibration that does not waver. You can feel this now, can't you? A quiet stirring, a sacred stillness rising. It does not demand that you become more. It invites you to shed what you are not. The labels, the roles, the armor, all of it begins to feel heavy in the presence of your real self. You no longer need to carry the weight of who you thought you had to be. You are not here to fulfill a script. You are here to sing a note so true, it ripples through eternity. And you do not need to shout that note. You do not need to amplify it for the world. You simply need to allow it, to let it rise, unfiltered from the quiet well within. That vibration, pure, unshaken, is enough to change the atmosphere around you, not because it conquers, but because it harmonizes. The frequency of your authenticity calls others into theirs. That is the miracle. That is the medicine. That is the way of the awakened. And now, as you breathe in this truth, let yourself feel the freedom that was always yours. Not freedom as escape, but freedom as embodiment. The freedom to be exactly what you are, without condition. The freedom to walk the earth as a soul in motion, not a problem to be solved. The freedom to know that your value was never in question, not by the universe, not by the energy that dreamed you into form. You are not here to earn your place in the world. You are here to express the world that lives within you. And so you begin to live differently. You listen more. You react less. You move not from fear, but from feeling. Your energy speaks before your words do. Your presence arrives before your body does. This is the mark of one who knows themselves as energy, not a thing to be fixed, but a field to be tuned. You tune yourself, not by changing what you do, but by changing how you be. You tune yourself by forgiving what you once held, by releasing what once defined you, by embracing what you once feared. And as you do, your frequency rises not with effort, but with ease, not by addition, but by subtraction. You become a clearer channel for the divine, not because the divine was ever absent, but because now finally you are present. And in this holy presence, all things align, all things begin, all things return. This is the place beyond becoming. This is the place of being. You no longer ask, what must I do? For the doing has dissolved into being. You no longer wonder, who must I become? For the becoming has surrendered to the truth that you were always this, always light, always whole, always an expression of the infinite wrapped in form. And so you stand now, not as a seeker, but as a space in which seeking dissolves. You are not the energy of need, you are the energy of knowing. You do not reach for the divine, you radiate it. You are not the one trying to align with truth, you are the frequency of truth, remembering itself through breath, through body, through this very moment. And in this remembrance, the world does not vanish, but it changes. The way you see it shifts. You no longer divide what is sacred from what is mundane. You feel the presence of Source not just in the stars, but in your fingertips, not just in temples, but in conversations, not just in rituals, but in the way you drink water, the way you touch the earth, the way you speak your own name. Because the truth is this, everything is energy. And when you see through the eyes of energy, everything becomes God. Every face you pass carries the signature of the infinite. Every sound becomes a song of becoming. Every sorrow, a holy recalibration. Every joy, a vibration of alignment. You stop looking for meaning because you feel it. You stop asking for signs because you are one. You have remembered now that your life is not random. It is not a tangle of circumstances. It is a tapestry of energy, woven by the choices you make with your vibration. And as you vibrate higher, the fabric changes, not through effort, but through resonance. So live as resonance, walk as harmony, speak not from the fear of being misunderstood, but from the joy of being revealed. Share your energy not to impress, but to bless. Offer your presence not to be praised, but to be present. And let your life no longer be a performance, but a prayer. And when fear whispers, as it may, when doubt returns, as it will, do not resist. Do not war against the frequencies that rise within you. Meet them with your light. Welcome them as visitors, but no longer as rulers. Say to them, I see you. I honor your place in the unfolding, but I am no longer your home. And they will pass. They always do. Because the moment you return to presence, you return to power. Not the power of dominance, but the power of alignment, the power of coherence, the power of a soul vibrating so deeply in truth that even silence becomes a transmission. This, beloved, is who you are. You are not chasing light, you are the source of it. You are not waiting for love, you are the field from which it grows. You are not reaching for God, you are the frequency through which God expresses. Everything is energy, and so are you. You are the pulse beneath the planet. You are the space behind the sky. You are the echo of eternity made manifest in this moment, in this breath, in this sacred now. So live like it. Live not cautiously, but consciously. Live not in the shadow of what has been, but in the radiance of what is now becoming through you. And when the world forgets, as it often does when it stumbles back into fear and frenzy, do not shrink. Shine. Shine with the soft power of a soul no longer afraid to be seen. Shine with the quiet confidence of one who knows that the divine does not reside somewhere else in some distant realm of approval, but right here, within, humming through every cell, rising through every heartbeat, flowing as you. You are not a visitor in this universe. You are its voice. You are not the energy you carry. You are the consciousness that chose it. And now, you choose anew. You choose to vibrate in truth. You choose to walk as light. You choose to live as love. And as you do, the whole world changes, not because you pushed it, but because you became a field in which truth could bloom. This is the sacred return. This is the homecoming. This is the awakening. Everything is energy. And now, finally, so are you. There is a river beneath your life, silent and steady, a current not bound by the hours on your watch or the ticking of the world's demands. It flows beneath every breath you take, every detour you judge, every waiting room you resent. It is the current of divine timing. And though it may not move by the logic of your calendar, it has never once failed to arrive on time. You have been taught to believe in deadlines and timetables in the race to get ahead, but the soul does not run on clocks. The soul unfolds like the seasons, effortless, inevitable, and impossibly wise. It does not bloom just because the world says now. It blooms because the light within has found its perfect hour to rise. You are not behind. You have never been behind. That ache you feel when things haven't arrived yet, that is not failure. That is your deeper knowing preparing you to receive. It is not a punishment. It is a pause, a divine breath, waiting for you to come into alignment with what has always been yours. Imagine a tree scolding itself for not blooming in January. Imagine the moon grieving for not being full every night. Nature knows better than to rush. It trusts the rhythm of its becoming, and so must you. There is something happening in the unseen that your senses cannot yet grasp. Doors are forming where there were only walls. Seeds are stirring beneath the soil of your life, gathering the strength to break through not because you pushed, but because you trusted. Because you stopped clawing at the timing and began surrendering to the wisdom of your own becoming, you have mistaken delay for denial. But delay is often the divine's greatest act of love. It is not saying no, it is saying, not yet. You are not being kept from it. You are being prepared for it. And what is being prepared is not just the blessing, it is you. You are not waiting for life to begin. Life is waiting for you to shed the illusions that block its light. You think you need to make it happen. But the truth is, life is not something to be forced into form. It is something to be allowed, received, aligned with. There is a deeper intelligence weaving through your days, a wisdom that transcends effort. It is not passive, it is profoundly active, though invisible. Like the tide that moves without being asked, or the stars that rise without being summoned. This intelligence does not miss appointments. It does not lose track of you. It does not forget your name. You are part of its design, not separate from it. And every so-called delay in your life has been the universe's way of saying, wait, there is more coming than you can yet imagine, and it will not arrive in a rush. It will arrive when you are ready to receive, not with your hands, but with your whole being. The ego demands timing. The soul requires trust. The ego stamps its foot and says, why not now? But the soul smiles softly and whispers when the time is ripe, and there is no greater freedom than resting in that ripeness. Then knowing that even in your stillness, you are being moved towards something sacred. Even in your setbacks, you are being redirected to a more aligned path. There have been moments you thought you missed it, the job, the person, the moment that seemed like your only chance, and yet here you are, not ruined, not forsaken, but growing in ways that could not have happened if life had gone your way. Sometimes unanswered prayers are the truest form of grace. Do you think the ocean worries about reaching the shore fast enough? It does not. It knows it cannot be late for its own arrival. It simply moves in rhythm with the moon and touches every grain of sand in time. So too with your life. You do not need to rush. You need to root. You need to trust that what is yours will not pass you. It cannot. Because it was never outside of you. It was always being drawn to the frequency of your being. The more you trust, the more you align. The more you align, the more you magnetize what already belongs to you. The world will try to convince you that you must hustle for your worth, that you must achieve, become, impress, perform. But the divine does not operate in the currency of urgency. The divine operates in presence, in surrender, in the deep, unwavering peace that says, I may not see it yet, but I know it is already on its way. You are not the architect of your destiny. You are the witness of it unfolding. You are not the builder of time. You are the dweller of eternity. What you call delays, the divine calls preparation. What you call detours, the divine calls redirection. What you call failure, the divine calls refinement. And when you look back, and you will see that not one delay was wasted, not one no was cruel. Every twist was a turning. Every pause was a pulsing of the sacred heart within you, timing your arrival not for the world's applause, but for your soul's awakening. Let go of your grip on the clock. Release the pressure to be anywhere other than here. Now is not the enemy of your dreams. It is the cradle in which they are formed. Now is not late. Now is the divine. And the divine is never late. Then breathe now, not as a habit, but as a remembrance. Let this breath not be rushed, not forced, not taken for granted, but received as a sacred whisper of life, reminding you that you are already in the flow. There is no step you have missed. There is no moment that should have come sooner. You are inhaling right on time. Divine timing is not a destination. It is the pulse of the infinite moving through your veins. It does not operate on your ambition, but on your alignment. It listens not to your impatience, but to your readiness. And readiness is not a matter of time, it is a matter of truth. When you peel away the layers of expectation, when you silence the inner voices that insist you must be elsewhere by now, what remains is the profound serenity of being exactly where your soul chose to be. And in that being, you do not find delay, you find depth. Have you noticed how the universe never hurries? The stars were not born in haste. The mountains did not rise overnight. And you're becoming this sacred unfolding of your spirit is not meant to be a sprint, but a sacred unfolding of eternal wisdom expressing itself through time. You were not born to outrun your destiny. You were born to merge with it. And merging requires presence. It requires trust in a rhythm that cannot be measured by clocks or calendars, but only by the resonance in your heart. Do not confuse motion with progress. There are seasons where stillness is the most radical movement, where resting in the unknown is not passivity, but power. It is in those quiet spaces where the world sees nothing happening that the roots of transformation grow deepest. The fruit cannot ripen until the tree has known the quiet dark of soil, the patient work of sun and rain. And so it is with you. You may feel unseen, you may wonder if your path has vanished beneath your feet, but what is happening beneath the surface of your life is more miraculous than you can comprehend. You are not idle, you are incubating. You are not forgotten, you are being fortified. The longer something takes to arrive, the more space is being made within you to receive it, and not merely to receive it, but to become it. For the true miracles are not things we possess, but truths we embody. Your soul is not interested in shallow gains. It seeks the eternal. It longs for a depth that cannot be rushed. And every moment you spend in frustration, trying to summon a future that is not yet ripe, you forget that the future is not a prize at the end of your effort. It is a reflection of your inner state. Change your inner frequency, and you alter the orbit of your entire life. Shift from urgency to trust, and watch how the world softens around you. There is nothing more powerful than a human being who has remembered their own divine rhythm and dares to follow it even when the world demands haste. The caterpillar does not doubt the cocoon. It does not fight the stillness or beg the sky for wings. It rests. It dissolves. It allows something sacred to remake it from within. And when the time is true, not a moment too soon, it emerges, transformed. Let that be your metaphor. Let that be your medicine. You are not stuck. You are in the sacred pause before flight. And in that pause, you are being rewired, reshaped, renewed in ways that no external movement could ever provide. Do not rush this metamorphosis. Do not insult the divine with impatience. It is shaping you for a purpose your mind cannot yet conceive. Every delay you've cursed, every detour you've doubted, every closed door you've mourned, they were all necessary notes in the symphony of your life. And the symphony is not meant to be played at double speed. It must be heard, felt, lived. When you slow down enough to listen not to the noise, but to the silence beneath the noise, you begin to sense the divine choreography of your life. You realize that what you thought was random was a rhythm. What you feared was empty, was full. What you resisted was love wearing the mask of time. You are not waiting for your life to begin. Your life is waiting for you to surrender. Not to give up, but to give in. To stop gripping the steering wheel with white knuckles and start allowing the intelligence of the universe to drive. It knows the way. It always has. You are not being led astray. You are being led deeper. And depth is never late. For what is depth if not the courage to remain with yourself in the hollow spaces, those moments when nothing seems to move and yet everything is shifting beneath the surface? This is the paradox of divine timing. It appears as stillness, but it moves like thunder beneath the earth. You cannot always see it, but you are always being moved by it. There are years when it seems nothing blooms. You water your soul with prayers. You till the soil of your life with effort, and still the harvest delays. But beloved soul, not every year is for blooming. Some years are for rooting, for going deeper into the invisible layers of your being where no eye can see and no clock can measure. And in that rooting, you are preparing the foundation for a life that can hold the magnitude of the light you are destined to carry. Divine timing is not about immediate results, it is about eternal resonance. It is not interested in convenience, it is aligned with cosmic precision. The deeper truth is this: life is not unfolding by your plan, it is unfolding by your pattern. And your pattern is woven from every thought you nourish, every truth you honor, every moment you choose trust over fear. You see, timing is not random, it is responsive. It does not obey your demands, but it does mirror your energy. When you emit urgency, the world becomes chaotic. When you breathe trust, life becomes orchestral. Every player knows their part. Every note arrives in harmony. There is music playing beneath your circumstances. But if you are too busy judging the silence, you will miss the sacred crescendo. Divine timing does not play for the impatient, it plays for the aware. This awareness is your only real task, not to force outcomes, but to feel your way into alignment. And when you do, life begins to meet you with elegance. People arrive not a moment early, not a moment late. Doors open with a whisper. Answers find you when you have stopped asking from fear and begun listening from peace. Do not curse the empty room. It is where the divine arranges your furniture. Do not despise the locked gate. It is where the divine tends to your garden. You are not being punished by the pauses in your life. You are being polished. Polished in silence, polished in solitude, polished in the sacred waiting room of transformation. The oak tree inside the acorn does not ask for a shortcut. It trusts the dark. It trusts the slow unraveling of its potential. And so must you trust that even in your waiting, you are becoming. The truth is, your soul is never late. It is eternal. It is vast. And it is free of the fear that grips the mind and demands speed over meaning. What if the delay you dread is the very protection you need? What if the love that didn't arrive yet was not a rejection, but a redirection towards something more aligned? What if the dream that hasn't manifested is still being shaped, not out there, but in you? You are not here to chase time. You are here to dissolve into the rhythm of a divine intelligence that knows your soul's coordinates, even when you feel lost, that has charted every storm, every sunbeam, every surrender that will lead you to your greatest unfolding. And when you finally arrive, when that long-awaited blessing touches your hands, it will not feel rushed. It will not feel overdue. It will feel like it was always meant to be, because it was. Not because you controlled it, but because you became it. This is the sacred alchemy of divine timing. It does not bring you what you want when you want it. It brings you what you are when you are ready to hold it in truth, not just in desire. So trust the slow magic. Trust the invisible weaving. Trust that right now, this very breath is not a pause in your story. It is a paragraph the universe is still writing with exquisite care. Can you feel it? The truth behind the tension, the knowing behind the noise. You are not waiting. You are becoming, and becoming takes time. Holy, perfect, unhurried time. You were not born into this life to sprint toward imagined destinations. You were born to awaken slowly, like the dawn. And like the dawn, your becoming cannot be rushed by demand, only welcomed by surrender. There is no faster path to the sunrise, only deeper stillness to receive its warmth. Every experience that delays your desires, every pause that interrupts your plans, is not here to withhold the future. It is here to reveal the divine architecture of your becoming. You are being carved, not punished. You are being shaped, not stalled. The delays are not the denial of your truth. They are the deepening of it. Divine timing does not care for surface wants. It cares for the shape of your soul. And so it waits until the vessel of you has grown strong enough, wide enough, soft enough to hold the very thing you once begged for from a place of need. What you call delay, the divine calls protection, from a blessing becoming a burden, from a dream arriving to a version of you not yet ready to hold it with reverence. We ask the sky for miracles, but the sky asks us to become the space that can house them. And so the waiting, the aching, the nights when the stars seem too far, these are not punishments. They are ceremonies of preparation. The seed in the soil does not panic in darkness. It listens to the rhythm of the rain. It trusts the silent wisdom of time. And when it breaks through the surface, it does so not in desperation, but in alignment with the sun, with the season, with the sacred whisper of divine order. Your life is no different. The callings in your heart are not empty wishes. They are coded messages from the divine, reminding you of the path your soul signed up to walk. But those callings do not unfold according to ego's urgency. They open in accordance with your energetic readiness. The more you try to rush it, the more it eludes you, not because it is cruel, but because it is too holy to be summoned by force. Divine timing is not interested in speed, it is concerned with sanctity. It does not bring you the next chapter until you have finished reading the current one with open eyes and a soft heart. You cannot skip to the ending and expect the depth of the journey to fill you. Let go of the need to see every turn ahead. You are not the map maker, you are the traveler. And the path unfolds not because you figured it out, but because you trusted the next step even when it appeared invisible. And how many times, beloved soul, have you looked back on the chapters you once mourned, the delays, the breakups, the empty rooms, and seen the hand of grace moving silently behind them all? You did not know it then, but your sorrow was sacred. Your confusion was a corridor. Your longing was not weakness, but prophecy. The divine was never withholding. The divine was weaving people into place, lessons into shape, strength into the softness of your being. You are not merely walking a path, you are becoming the path itself. And that becoming cannot be rushed. It is eternal, it is intimate, it is divinely on time. You are not too late. Not for your healing, not for your joy, not for your miracle. If it has not arrived yet, it is because something greater is still being breathed into form. And that greater is not just the event, it is the you that will greet it. The you that no longer needs to chase. The you that radiates magnetism from presence, not performance. Your magnetism does not lie in how much you do, but in how much you allow. In how deeply you trust the wisdom that forms stars and galaxies to now form the next chapter of your life, not from your striving, but from your surrender. It is in this surrender that divine timing finds its home in you. And when it does, everything aligns. You no longer beg life for evidence. You walk as the evidence. You no longer demand signs. You live as the sign. You no longer seek certainty. You carry it within. Because the deeper you move into trust, the more time begins to bend around you. You find yourself in the right places at the right moments with the right people, not by effort, but by essence. Not by force, but by frequency. Your life becomes a prayer not spoken, but embodied. This is not fantasy, this is the physics of the soul. The more you remember who you are, timeless, divine, already whole, the less you grip the reins of time, and the more time begins to serve your becoming. Divine timing is never late, because it does not operate on the ego's calendar. It arrives when your inner world is ripe, and when it does, what once seemed impossible now feels inevitable. So do not resist the waiting. Do not shame the pause. Do not abandon the quiet season. It is in these sacred still points where the soul grows its deepest roots, where clarity returns like the morning sun after the longest night. And when the moment arrives, the one you've prayed for, cried for, dreamed into being, it will arrive not as a reward for your suffering, but as a natural extension of your alignment. You will not need to grab for it. It will be placed into your hands like a gift already written in your stars. Because what is written for you is not rushed. It is revealed. And when it is revealed, you will know without a doubt, without a clock, that divine timing was never late. It was waiting for you to become the version of yourself who could finally receive what was never withheld, only sacredly delayed. We are taught to hurry as though salvation lives in speed, as though joy can be caught like a bus you're about to miss. But joy does not wait at the end of acceleration. It flowers in presence. It grows in the garden of patience, nurtured by trust and tended with silence. What the mind calls wasted time, the soul knows as sacred gestation. You do not plant a seed and demand the tree overnight. You do not bake a loaf and scream at the oven to hurry. You understand that transformation, true and lasting, honors the timing of essence, not expectation. And so it is with your life. There are chambers within you still being prepared to hold the light you've prayed for. There are patterns unraveling so quietly that you may mistake their undoing for stagnation. But listen closely. Beneath what seems unmoving, your soul is shifting mountains. You do not have to see it to believe it. You only have to trust the nature of all things sacred. They begin in silence. The miracle grows in the womb of waiting. The lotus blooms from the deepest mud. And the most profound awakenings come not with fire, but with stillness. That is the paradox of divine timing. It feels like nothing until it feels like everything. One day, what you've been calling delay will reveal itself as perfect arrival. The doors that wouldn't open weren't broken, they were being aligned. The people who left weren't punishment, they were space makers. The prayers that went unanswered weren't ignored, they were stored, nourished by something far wiser than the mind. We forget sometimes that we are made of the same essence as stars born from stardust, sustained by breath, guided by light. And just as the stars cannot rush their own birth, neither can you. Your light is rising, quietly, surely, and not all will understand the timing of your glow. Some will say you should have arrived by now. Others will wonder why it's taken so long. But divine timing is not democratic. It does not seek votes of approval. It is a whisper between your soul and the source from which it came. And that whisper is saying, now is not too late, now is not too early, now is the only moment you are meant to be in. There is no milestone that defines your worth, no benchmark that validates your belonging. The oak does not envy the speed of the rose. The river does not compete with the clouds. Each flows, each grows, each becomes what it is meant to become in perfect rhythm with the divine intelligence that authored their design. And you are authored by the same hand. Why do you doubt what already knows its way? Why do you resist the very timing that has carried you this far? What if your only real task is not to speed up the process, but to sanctify it? To bless each step, not for where it's taking you, but for who you are becoming as you walk it. The cocoon does not apologize for its quiet. It does not hurry to prove its transformation. It surrenders utterly, completely to the process that only stillness can facilitate. And when the wings are ready, they emerge not with struggle, but with grace. Let this be your reminder. Nothing holy is ever late. No sacred calling is ever wasted. No true becoming is ever rushed. If you are in a season of waiting, know this: it is not punishment. It is preparation. It is the divine aligning stars you cannot yet see and removing obstacles you didn't know were in your path. It is the sacred hush before the song, the inhale before the poem begins. And when it begins, it will not ask if you're ready. It will arrive when your readiness is no longer a question, but a presence, a quiet yes that lives not in your words, but in your energy. You will no longer need to chase. You will no longer need to beg life for openings. You will have become the opening. You will have become the space through which divine timing enters the world fluid, effortless, and profoundly on time. So release your grip on the clock. Breathe deeper into the now, and listen not with your ears, but with your whole being as the sacred rhythm of your life continues to unfold in perfect time, as it always has. Then come now, beloved soul, to this closing stillness, not as one who has reached an end, but as one who has awakened to the truth that there was never a race to begin with. This journey, so richly layered, so divinely choreographed, was never about getting somewhere. It was always about returning to trust, returning to presence, returning to the perfect patient rhythm of your own becoming. Divine timing is not a concept to be understood. It is a living melody to be felt. And now, as you listen more deeply, can you hear it pulsing within you? Not outside, not in the future, but in the breath you are taking now. This moment is not a stepping stone. It is the sanctuary, the temple, the arrival disguised as ordinary life. All that you have waited for, all that you believed was delayed or lost, it was not waiting to appear. It was waiting for you to stop searching and start remembering. Because in truth, divine timing does not operate in distance. It moves in resonance. And when your energy aligns with what you seek, it arrives not because you chased it, but because you became it. Look gently at the path behind you. Can you see now how every delay was a door, every detour a doorway, every no a blessing not yet translated by the mind? Can you see how what once felt like endings were actually introductions to deeper chapters of yourself? The divine was never withholding from you. It was weaving you into the very answer you were searching for. Even your waiting was sacred because it taught you how to listen, how to surrender, how to trust a rhythm that your calendar could never capture. And in that surrender, you were not weakened, you were fortified. Softened, yes, but with a kind of softness that can move mountains. You did not become less by waiting, you became more. more patient, more aligned, more whole. You have not missed your moment. It has been within you all along. It rises not like a deadline, but like the dawn, unhurried, unstoppable, quietly luminous. And now you understand what the soul has whispered all along. Divine timing is not something you wait for, it is something you become. When you trust, when you surrender, when you no longer measure your worth by outcomes or clocks, you step into harmony with a universe that has never once been late. You are not behind. You are not early. You are exactly where you need to be for your next breath of truth to enter. So breathe, beloved. Inhale the peace of presence. Exhale the story of delay. And walk forward, not fast, not frantic, but rooted in the deep, knowing that every step you take from this place is right on time. Let the world chase what fades. Let your soul dwell in what endures. You do not need to predict the future. You only need to align with the now. And in this now, the sacred becomes visible. In this now, the waiting turns to wonder. In this now, the question dissolves into peace. You are not waiting for your life to begin. You are living it, right here, right now. And this moment is not late. It is divine.